Netflix recently released a teaser for the next season of The Witcher, and obviously this season will not have Henry Cavill, who is the protagonist. They've replaced him with Liam Hemsworth, and they posted this video of all of the cast doing a table read and just having the best time together.
Faux Geralt.
Yes, and it's obviously a cope for the fact that they've lost the star power of Henry Cavill and the huge PR blunder that was, since he reportedly was the only one on set defending the story's integrity while he was there, because he cares about that story. He cares about keeping in line with source material, and other actors generally don't. Screenwriters certainly don't. So they posted this promo for the next season, as well as the final season 5. And in response, Henry Cavill got thrown under the bus and blamed for the downfall of The Witcher by this anonymous Twitter user. They said, "The Witcher aired in 2019 and we never had funny behind the scenes compilations, never had heartfelt interactions mid-promo. It was always Anya, Joey, and Freya working together while he chose to isolate himself and work alone. He ruined Geralt and the Witcher fam for 4 years."
I love the idea that Henry Cavill's on like a one-man jihad against blooper reels. And
I mean, I think this is just like... You know, it seemed like he had some run-ins with the director and with the writers on set, and maybe he wasn't the most well-liked guy on set, but he had the right to be, because he's the reason why people were watching. And they're gonna have a lot of audience drop off after he's gone.
Yeah, they'll never be able to actually what he did for that, what he could have done for that show with his refusal to denigrate fans when that interviewer tried to just tee it up for him to call them sexist, racist, homophobic, and whatever. What he could have done for them, I would say, would have been on par with the director's decision to redesign Sonic when they did that. If they had done it right with The Witcher, if they had listened to him and rode that positive wave, they could have done anything. But it's a Netflix adaptation, so it's not going to do that.
Yeah, I think they said one of the primary things Henry Cavill pushed back against in the script is all of the sex scenes that were in the show.
Yeah,
like he felt that was inappropriate because his character wasn't supposed to be seen as this like sexual person.
It's also funny too because people, when we did a video recently where we talked about him calling out the overabundance of sex scenes in Hollywood, but they point out that he was in Tudors, which was I never saw had a lot of that.
I'm sure it did. So I mean, Game of Thrones obviously as well. Any period piece like that probably will. But another person in the reply said, with the Me Too environment that you guys gleefully created in the industry, if he smiled at you wrong or bumped into you, he would have gotten sexual harassment charges from HR, and you want him to be warm and inviting? You can't have it both ways, Cupcake.
It's the same thing as talking about him and Millie Bobby Brown on the set of Enola Holmes, where he kept it very professional. He said, "We're not going to talk outside of work. This is a job.
Smart man.
It's not my job to talk to a child about her personal life. One, because it's a hugely bad look, and two, because it's a distraction."
Right. I think this is just the way he conducts himself on sets. It's a job. He's going to treat his co-stars like his co-workers. Yeah. And, you know, he just doesn't want to cross a certain personal boundary. Why does that make him a villain?
This happens a lot on like network shows, especially shows where like audiences ship hard and they develop like really, really strong feelings about the characters. They'll sometimes be shocked at how just generally cordial their relationships are. That because what it is, it's always we were a family, we were this, and that may be true for a lot of them. Like a lot of them might get along great with cast members and hang out outside of work and all that stuff. But for some of them, it's a job. I go to work and I come home. Now you develop a certain level of a bond if you work with somebody for however many seasons, because you're working 12, 13 hours a day. But that's not going to be true in every respect.
Yeah, but
it would be like people expecting us to hang out outside of work. No.
That's exactly the type of vibe that they were trying to communicate. They were trying to convey in this promo video they put out. Like everyone is just laughing together, and then the girl who plays Yennefer is like leaning into him and grabbing his arm and stuff.
The best is going to be like where somebody's going to
Liam
pause
Hemsworth,
this,
I mean.
and then 2 years later, it's going to be like, and he touched me inappropriately
Exactly.
during table reads. We can look at this
This is why
video.
you never hang out with your co-star.
I think we can probably can't show the music. I don't remember if it's.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. Hold on.
They were doing this table read on a set. So there's Liam Hemsworth. They're all giggling together. And this is what that account was trying to say, is these were the heartfelt interactions in promo and funny behind the scenes compilations. Why don't you just enjoy the show itself?
Okay.
Yeah. Just kind of pointless and stupid. But in other Henry Cavill news, the Warhammer 40k show at Amazon is still in development, and I recently saw there were some leaks shared on 4chan, allegedly. I mean, obviously none of this is confirmed because they're anonymous posts. They're saying that basically Henry Cavill is threatening to leave that show over changes that they're trying to make to the lore at the behest of Amazon executives. So I'm not going to read out the whole post. And I don't have all the context because I just did a crash course in all of this lore today. But what they're saying is the studio, Games Workshop, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they aren't really supporting these changes at all. They're just in there because Amazon is forcing them to put female custodies into the new show, and they need them to exist in the lore beforehand, which is why the official account for Warhammer 40k recently tweeted that they've always been in the game and gaslit everyone into thinking that, even though for decades, literally decades, that has never been the case. It's a stage 4 cancer situation, they say. A business partnership shared the cancer from one company to the other. Games Workshop does not actually want this lore change and are trying to do it as minimally as possible. No models, no art, no future mentions of them, etc. Henry Cavill is threatening to walk away from the Warhammer show if they force him to include token female custodies in the Eisenhorn series or other such DEI changes. Cavill might have caused the situation on accident because he leaked the show before the paperwork was finalized, which gave Amazon a lot more negotiation power than they should have had at the time. And
they were always going to take that power if they can get it.
The official,
as these networks do.
Right. The official announcement for the Warhammer series was just in December last year, but the leak came in December 2022 because Henry Cavill kind of let it slip that this was in the works before their contracts were finalized. So now Amazon executives like Jen Psaki, for instance, are in a great position to insert whatever woke changes they want.
She's like, oh my gosh, rings of power too.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
They kind of, Warhammer definitely has a smaller fan base than Lord of the Rings. I'll grant that. But this is what they love doing to franchises, and this is what they love doing to IP. They just love stirring shit for no reason.
I love the idea that somebody comes in and goes, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to make it as it was. And somebody goes, well, how about, no. But maybe, no.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a world with less work because it's already done.
What if you didn't need to go through all the work of retconning things?
What if you didn't make it for modern audiences?
Yes. This 4chan post says social media department at Games Workshop jumped the gun and tried to put out fires with the wrong hose. Intent is to push female custodies characters in the Amazon show without breaking lore. Seems kind of impossible because Amazon execs wanted a woman in power armor and wouldn't settle for Sisters of Battle, I believe it is. People involved in the show are pissed because they've been moving ahead on Eisenhorn. Talks of inserting said female custodies into the story, with Cavill threatening to walk away from the project. They really need better social media employees. I mean, I think they need better executives and better employees in general. Cavill will be in an article heading to Games Workshop headquarters to work on the new series this week or next to, I presume, quell all of these worries from this social media debate that has started over the last couple weeks.
This is like when we're talking about, say, the Targaryens that we just discussed earlier with House of the Dragon, or even when I went to see the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. There's a character named Harren who's honestly maybe my second favorite character in the whole movie. But he's not based on a real person like the rest of the characters in there. They did it because it was a way to put in diverse characters. Now, to their credit, the one that they added in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is actually done really, really well, and the actor is fantastic. So it's a little bit different. But the point is, likely, Guy Ritchie gets this movie independently produced through Lionsgate, and they're like, look, we'll help fund this movie, but we've got some demands that come with the storytelling. And you're not going to get around that with these things these days. Not unless you're funding that whole kit and caboodle yourself, and most of them aren't.
Yeah. After, Henry Cavill just takes L after L back in, I guess this was 2022, or was it last year, where he leaves The Witcher. He thinks he's going to be Superman, and then he's not. He gets kicked off that too.
He announces it
and everything, Instagram. And then gets booted from that as well. And then he makes this announcement about Warhammer, and now he might have no choice but to walk out of that project too.
And he's being used as like bait and switch on everything. Argyle, he's barely in it. Even in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, he's in it a lot. But I really do believe that there was characters added that probably cut down on his screen time. It's like the guy can't win. And it is fair. Like I saw people having the discussion. They said, look, it's time to have the discussion that Henry Cavill isn't the leading man that you think he is. Now, just because he is a true blue nerd and he's got the cred does not mean that he's the box office draw that you think he is.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I saw one other user in these leaks say, don't dick ride him too hard about Henry Cavill. He's always prided himself on the idea of being the nerd who made it. His concern is losing the clout of being known as the super fan celebrity. So they think he's not even genuinely attached to, or invested in any of these projects. He's just attached to being the guy who is a fan favorite, who is one of the fans, but is also in the project.
Yeah.
And, if he goes ahead with doing this Amazon show, it might be good for his career financially in the short term, but it won't be good for keeping his existing loyal fan base on his side.
Correct.
If they get these changes made that they clearly want to make.
Yeah.
So it remains to be seen how this is going to go for him.
Then he signs on, he's got to do the show. They've made the changes. He looks depressed the whole season.
He's just going to sabotage it intentionally.
See, what they need to do is they need to let him make the show the way he wants and watch those behind the scenes shots start looking real good because he's actually happy to be there.
Lots of heartfelt promo.
Because he's actually happy to be there, right? Maybe he just says, F it. I got a kid on the way. I'm going to go be a dad.
Yeah, there's just too much crisis management PR taking over Hollywood right now. When you really could pare down your focus on just making an original story in the first place. You never needed to pick up an IP in the first place. People have been consistently asking for original shows. I understand a lot of people got excited when they saw Henry Cavill Warhammer show in a headline, but things aren't really that simple.
It's we're looking for new stuff, but the thing is I feel like the new stuff in Hollywood is designated more towards a woman audience, whether it's the stuff about Anna Delvey, like
biopics, which isn't really original.
When people say that there's no new stuff, they're wrong. All of the slop that's dumped onto streaming proves that there's new stuff made all the time.
Yeah, I think what we mean is we want original good stuff.
And what they mean is at the big budget studio level.
Right.
They want the movies to be filled with new ideas. But look, I love the creator. It didn't make any money. So how many failed movies can they make before they say, look, okay, the creator made no money. It didn't make its money back. It only cost $80 million. Well, what if we make a Star Wars movie and sure, everybody hates it and it costs us $200 million, but it at least makes its money back based solely on the limping frame of its IP.
That's honestly not even guaranteed anymore.
Yep. No, it's not.
Doesn't really matter whether something is original or if it's IP based at this point. It's a struggle to get anything past the point of making a profit anyway.
I don't believe superhero movies are finished. It's over. Says, nah, there's no new ideas, Brett. It's all been done before. Look, I disagree. I do believe that you can go on streaming right now. The thing is, you have to train your brain to look for stuff that you might not necessarily be interested in. Somebody pointed me to The Sympathizer, which I haven't looked at. Rabbit Hole, starring Kiefer Sutherland, which were all if they're not originals, they're at least based on books or something like that. But they're not something that's traditionally been done before. There's stuff out there. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of whether it interests you. And the thing is, I always my problem is when I see that many new things get made, I'm like, how good can it be? When I really do believe that really, really gifted, genuinely talented actors, that is a scarce resource. And when they're spread so thin over, how many projects was Giancarlo Esposito in? 197. He can only make so many appearances.
Yeah.
Right?
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.